Sophia's eyelids dragged open. The room was dim, the monitors beeped slow and steady. Pain meds still muddled her head.
The baby, I just need to see her.
Her fingers met only wrinkled sheet. The bassinet was empty. No blanket, no warmth.
Where is she? Nurse?
The only answer was the hollow beep of the monitor. The silence pressed in like a held breath.
This isn't right. She was right here. They took her out to run tests, maybe. But they'd tell me. They always tell me. Hello? Someone please? My baby?
She fumbled for the call button, smashing it with her thumb. Her whole arm shook. The empty bassinet stared back, a silent accusation. No footsteps in the hall. No nurse came.
Please, somebody. She's gone. She's gone.
Finally, footsteps. The door swung open and Nurse Carolyn hurried in, her face pinched with alarm.
My baby, where is she? Something's wrong.
Your baby is fine, Ms. Reeves, but you signed the surrender papers this afternoon. She's been discharged to your sister.
I signed nothing. I was unconscious. I wouldn't give her away. Check the paperwork again.
Carolyn pulled up the document on her tablet, turning the screen so Sophia could see. The signature was shaky, but it was the middle name that stopped her heart.
That's not my signature. My middle name is Marie, not Mary. Someone forged this.
The form was submitted by the social worker on duty. I'll pull the original bracelet logs.
This is no mistake. They planned this while I was out. Pull every record. The bracelet my baby wore, the time it was cut off. I want to see everything.
The forged signature was the first crack, but the real truth was buried deeper in a bracelet log that hadn't been checked yet. The truth had been set in motion hours earlier, in a cold conference room where 3 women met to decide a newborn's fate.
Sophia isn't thinking clearly. She told me herself she can't raise a child. Brenda has been waiting 11 years.
I've got a nursery ready. A crib, a mobile. This is the only way that makes sense for everyone. The surrender form requires her witness signature. I can't just take your word for it.
Kimberly's expression didn't change. She reached into her bag and set an envelope on the table. It was thick.
$15,000. You process the paperwork and we all leave here with what we want.
This is illegal. I could lose my license.
But she didn't push it away. Her trembling fingers closed around the envelope and tucked it under her clipboard. The deal was sealed. An hour later, in the maternity wing, Brenda was led to the nursery. A nurse fastened a bracelet around her wrist, then handed over the swaddled newborn. The bracelet bore a number that traced back to no valid patient, and Sophia slept on, her daughter stolen while her heart beat steadily on the monitor. Carolyn returned, holding a clipboard with the original surrender form. Her mouth was a tight line.
The signature on the surrender form doesn't match your intake paperwork. I pulled both.
That's not my hand. Look at the 80s. Someone copied my name wrong. My middle name is Marie, not Mary.
The original script was fluid and slanted left. The forgery was shaky and upright. No one could mistake them.
The bracelet log will show the exact time any bracelet was cut and reattached. I'll pull it now.
As Carolyn left, the door swung open again. Charles stood there in rumpled clothes, his eyes red-rimmed and lost.
Dad, the hospital called you? Tell me you know nothing about this.
They said there was a dispute, that the baby was missing. I came as fast as I could. Where is she?
Mom and Brenda took her. They forged a surrender form. I need you to believe me, please, Dad.
She's frantic, but she's never lied to me. Not like Kimberly.
Carolyn returned, a tablet glowing against her chest. The screen cast pale light on her face.
The log is time-stamped. At 2:14 p.m., bracelet H771 was registered to you, Sophia. At 3:08, another bracelet, H882, was issued to Brenda. But the patient ID is invalid.
The numbers hung in the air. A phantom record had been used to cover a theft.
That proves it. They cut my baby's band and put a fake on my sister. Check the cameras.
Brenda was here? I didn't even know she was in town.
Carolyn tapped an alert icon. She flagged the chain of custody violation and hit send.
Security is on the way. I'm looping in the hospital ombudsman, Dr. Ellis.
Janet, the social worker. She must have done it.
The monitor beeped on. Charles gripped the bed rail, the truth settling like stone. Outside, footsteps finally moved toward them. Dr. Ellis entered, tablet in hand. Her face was a mask of calm skepticism. She looked from the bracelet log to the distraught mother.
The signature discrepancy is concerning, but handwriting analysis takes time, and you were medicated. A court might say you were confused.
I know my own signature. I never signed that form. Ask anyone who knows me.
Before Dr. Ellis could answer, the door flew open. Kimberly's voice sliced through the room.
What is this? Accusing us of theft? Sophia, you're drugged and delusional. You can't even hold a pen.
I've waited 11 years for a child. She's an unfit mother. She said she didn't want the baby. That's a lie. You forged my name and paid someone to take her.
Enough. Both of you, back away from my daughter.
Charles's voice shook, but he planted himself between Sophia and the women who had built this lie. Kimberly's eyes widened with fury.
I think we need to continue this discussion in separate rooms. Security is outside.
Carolyn touched Dr. Ellis's elbow and steered her toward the corridor, away from the shouting.
Earlier today, I saw Brenda receive a bracelet at the nurse's station. It wasn't the standard procedure. And Janet, the social worker, she was here too, looking over her shoulder, like she was afraid.
Janet? She processed the surrender. Did you see her exchange anything with the family?
Carolyn shook her head, but her unease was plain. Dr. Ellis's pen tapped twice against her tablet.
Janet? Is that the social worker? I want her in this room now.
Security. Find Janet Harrow and escort her to my office. Do not let her leave the building.
The guard gave a sharp nod and strode down the hallway, his radio squelching.
She's the one who forged the form. She knows who put her up to it.
Dr. Ellis said nothing, but she typed rapidly. A quiet investigation was now a race. The room emptied. Charles stayed behind, his head sinking into his hands, shoulders shaking.
I heard them, Sophia, the night before. Kimberly said they'd fix it so Brenda could take the baby. I didn't think they'd actually do it.
He pulled out his phone, thumb scrolling. A message thread with Brenda lit the screen.
Brenda texted me yesterday asking when the paperwork would be ready. I didn't answer.
The message read, "Is the surrender form ready? Mom says the social worker needs a push."
You knew they were planning this, and you said nothing?
She opened her own phone camera app and recorded the screen. The time-stamped messages now held legal weight.
I was a coward. I thought if I ignored it, it would go away. Please don't shut me out. She's going to lose everything because of me.
Sophia's thumb hovered over the send button, the video ready to go. The room was silent except for the beep of the monitor. Security found Janet in her office, shoving files into a bag. Her glasses were crooked, her eyes darting. Janet tried to shoulder past the guard, but Dr. Ellis filled the doorway, her expression unyielding.
This is harassment. I processed everything according to protocol.
Then explain the bracelet mismatch. You issued a ban to Brenda using a patient ID that doesn't exist.
Janet's hands shook. The bag slipped from her grip and she caught it against her hip. From the doorway, Sophia watched. Her phone was recording every word.
I need to call my union rep. I'm not answering anything without legal counsel.
She darted sideways into the restroom down the hall. The lock clicked into place.
Ms. Harrow hiding in there won't change the records. Come out and we can talk.
Inside, Janet pressed her back against the stall door. The envelope of cash was still in her locker, only a floor away.
You have to get here now. They're accusing us of kidnapping. I need damage control.
Everything's falling apart. They're going to take her away from me.
Charles stood in the doorway, unseen. His wife and daughter were unraveling, and he finally understood the full depth of what they had done. He stepped back into the hall and pulled out his phone. His thumb trembled over the emergency call button.
I need to report a possible kidnapping at St. Clair's Hospital. A newborn infant was taken by family members through a forged surrender.
A moment later, Sophia's phone buzzed. A text from Charles. "I'm sorry. I called them."
He actually did it. He chose me.
Outside, a police cruiser braked under the emergency portico. Red and blue lights washed across the glass doors. Two officers strode through the entrance, their voices low but carried on the still air. Security directed them toward the maternity wing. In the waiting room, Kimberly argued on, blind to the sirens. But Brenda froze, seeing the red flashes through the blinds. Dr. Ellis and an officer stood outside the restroom. Janet's sobbing was the only sound before the lock clicked open.
I can't go to prison for this. I'll tell you everything.
They led her to a sterile interview room. The door clicked shut and a single fluorescent light buzzed overhead.
Janet, we have the bracelet log and the forged signature. This is your one chance to explain.
Kimberly Reeves paid me $15,000. She said it would be simple, just push the paperwork. I forged the signature. The cash is in my locker. I haven't spent $1. Please, I just wanted to fix my debts.
An officer escorted her to the employee locker room. The locker door swung open, revealing a brown envelope. The officer held the envelope up, photographing the thick stack of bills. Evidence tag B17 was logged.
This hospital will press charges. Your statement and the cash are being handed to the district attorney.
Outside the door, Sophia pressed her hand to her chest. The net was closing, and she could finally breathe. The officers found Brenda in the waiting room, clutching the baby like a shield. Her face went white when she saw the cuffs. "Brenda Reeves, you're under arrest for kidnapping." A nurse stepped forward and gently took the infant from her trembling arms.
No, she's mine. I've waited my whole life. You can't do this.
Kimberly backed toward the wall, her composure cracking. Then the second officer turned to her. "Kimberly Reeves, you're under arrest for bribery, forgery, and conspiracy." Her pearl earrings seemed to glint as she spat her reply.
You're a monster, Sophia. You'll regret stealing her from a real family.
Charles stood motionless, jaw tight, watching the mother of his children led away. His eyes were dry, but a nerve twitched at his temple. The baby was brought to the nursery for a full pediatric check, her tiny bracelet H771 still secure on her wrist. Sophia sat in a wheelchair near the hallway door, her hospital gown bunched under a cardigan, watching the procession of handcuffs.
She's safe. That's all that matters now.
Within hours, a lawyer in a pressed navy suit arrived. She set a printed motion on Sophia's bedside table, the ink still smelling of the machine.
Is this fast enough to stop Kimberly from filing a countersuit?
The lawyer nodded. Janet's sworn confession and the photographed bribe cash had already been uploaded directly to the court's emergency portal.
I submitted my statement confirming the bracelet timestamps. At 3:08, my system recorded the cut and reissue to Brenda.
The judge received the package via sealed digital link, an emergency protocol reserved for child safety cases. A decision could come within the hour. At 8:42 p.m., the judge's signature appeared on the order. The gavel emoji in the subject line was the only formality needed. Sophia's phone lit up with a PDF of the signed order. Emergency custody order, Sophia Reeves in bold at the top. She pressed the screen with a shaking finger.
She's mine, legally and permanently.
The door opened quietly. Carolyn stood there, her tired eyes finally warm, a small smile breaking through her professional mask.
The nursery is ready for you, Mom. Let's go meet your daughter.
Carolyn guided Sophia's wheelchair into the nursery. The room was hushed, filled with the rhythmic beep of tiny monitors. A nurse lifted a swaddled bundle from a bassinet. The pink bracelet H771 was visible on the baby's wrist. The nurse turned toward Sophia, whose arms were already reaching out, her breath catching. The baby was placed into her arms, a warm weight settled against her chest, and the tears came all at once.
I'm sorry I wasn't there, little one. I'm here now.
She pressed her lips to the soft forehead, breathing in the scent that was only hours old. In the doorway, Charles stood frozen. One hand covered his mouth, and his shoulders shook silently. He didn't step forward. He seemed to know this moment wasn't his to claim.
Her name is Mary, after the woman who taught me what a mother's love could be.
The baby's eyes opened, dark and serious, as if listening, and Sophia felt the first real peace since the empty bassinet. Sophia was discharged into a storm. News vans choked the curb. Microphones thrust toward her as she shielded Mary's carrier. The reporter's voice droned. Mother drugged, newborn handed to sister, an elaborate conspiracy. Sophia muted it. Through her lawyer, she released a 2-sentence statement. My daughter is safe. The people responsible will answer to the law.
They know where I live. If Kimberly posted bail, she could send someone. I need to be ready.
Charles arrived that evening, a single suitcase in hand. He looked more exhausted than Sophia had ever seen him.
I moved out of the house. The divorce papers are already filed. I'm not asking you to forgive me today.
Sophia took 2 steps and hugged him. But her arms were careful, not desperate. The old trust was gone.
I'm installing a security system tomorrow. Cameras at every entrance, motion sensors. If you're going to be around Mary, you have to accept that.
Charles nodded, wiping his eyes with a shaking hand. He said nothing, but his silence was a surrender. The apartment now hummed with an alarm's readiness. Sophia walked the perimeter one last time before bed, her shadow sharp on the wall. The courtroom was small and windowless. Sophia sat at the plaintiff's table, holding a baby blanket. Brenda's lawyer argued she was a pawn. Kimberly's face on the monitor remained stone cold. The judge called Sophia to the stand. She walked forward, each step steady, the blanket still in her hand.
I didn't sign anything. I was unconscious, and when I woke, my daughter was gone.
The attorney displayed the bracelet log on a screen. H771, H882. The forged signature followed.
They stole my baby, and they will never lay eyes on her again.
The gavel struck, wood on wood, the sound like a door slamming shut. The order was permanent. No contact. A legal wall no bribe could breach. Outside, Sophia pressed the order to her chest and slid down the wall, her body shaking. She wept, but the tears were from a door finally closing. 2 months dissolved into a rhythm of feedings and lullabies. The apartment smelled of baby lotion and coffee.
Some mornings I forget, just for a breath, and then the dread comes back. But today feels lighter.
In the nursery, Mary slept. The mobile turned slowly, casting silver fish across the crib. Sophia stood in the doorway, listening to the whisper of breath. The empty bassinet still visited her dreams.
I never believed I would get to see this. A quiet morning with my daughter safe under my own roof.
A shudder passed through her, the memory of that first empty bassinet, the cold beep of the monitor. She steadied herself.
Never again. No one will ever take her from me.
She returned to the kitchen, poured coffee, and let the sun warm her back. The past was a locked door. The restraining order was a piece of paper, but the peace in her chest was something she had built herself. She knew the worst was over. Healing would be slow, built layer by layer. And this sunrise was the first one she truly trusted. Sophia sorted the mail at the kitchen table. Bills, a baby product catalog, and a thick envelope in Charles's handwriting. She tore it open. The paper smelled of his aftershave, a ghost of the house she left behind. The letter began. The divorce is final. I've cut all contact with your mother and sister. I'm seeing a therapist. I was a coward, Sophia. I stood by and let them plan it. I don't expect you to forgive me. But if you ever wanted, I'd like to be a grandfather to Mary. I'll wait however long it takes. I love you, Dad. She read the words twice. Her thumb traced a tear stain. Charles had cried writing this.
He's trying, but I remember him silent while Kimberly schemed. Trust isn't a switch I can flip.
She folded the letter carefully, aligning the creases, and walked to her desk. She pulled open the top drawer. The letter went inside, under a file marked important. She didn't reply, but she didn't throw it away either.
Not yet, but maybe someday. For now, that drawer holds possibility. And that's enough.
Another month slipped by. Sophia lay on the living room floor, Mary on a playmat, sunlight pooling around them. She dangled a soft rattle, and Mary's dark eyes tracked it. Then the corners of her mouth twitched. And then a wide, gummy smile spread across Mary's face. The first real smile.
Oh my God, you smiled. Look at that smile, Mary.
Tears rolled down her cheeks, but her laugh filled the room. She scooped Mary up and pressed kisses to her forehead. She fumbled for her phone. Her first call wasn't to family, it was to Carolyn.
Carolyn, she smiled. A real one. I'm a mess, but she smiled at me.
Oh, honey, that's everything. You did the hardest thing a mother can do. You fought for her, and she knows it.
Carolyn's voice was steady, the same warmth that had been there the night everything broke open.
For the first time since giving birth, I feel light. Like the past isn't pressing on my chest anymore.
The apartment filled with low music and the clink of forks. Carolyn arrived with flowers. Charles came last, his gift bag clenched like a shield. He stood in the doorway, eyes searching for Sophia. She nodded toward the living room, and he stepped inside.
I'm glad you came, Dad. She's in the bouncy seat.
Mary was lifted into Charles's arms. He held her as if she were made of glass, his hands trembling slightly.
She looks just like you did. I'm so sorry I wasn't the father you deserved.
Sophia stood with her arms crossed, her gaze never leaving them. She was giving permission, but every muscle in her body remained on alert. One of Sophia's friends asked, "Will Mary ever meet her aunt or grandmother?" The room stilled.
No, she'll know the truth when she's older, but Kimberly and Brenda aren't family anymore.
The words landed like stones in calm water. Charles looked down at Mary, his jaw tight, but he nodded. The party resumed, softer now, but the boundary had been drawn in permanent ink. This was Sophia's family, the one she had fought to build. 6 months later, rain streaked the windows. Sophia sat alone in the dim living room, the TV's blue glow washing over her. The chyron read, "Kimberly Reeves sentenced to 5 years for kidnapping and bribery." A secondary caption noted that Brenda Reeves received probation for cooperating with prosecutors.
5 years. The number didn't stir her. There was only a hollow stillness.
She watched the gavel image linger on screen, her arms wrapped around a cushion.
It's over.
She clicked the TV off. The blue glow vanished, leaving only the soft amber light from the hallway upstairs. Then she rose and climbed the stairs, her hand trailing the banister. At the landing, she paused and looked back. The living room below was silent, the TV a black mirror. She turned toward the soft hum of the baby monitor, and the last of the old fear slipped away. The nursery was wrapped in amber lamplight. Mary's breathing was soft, her lashes still against her cheeks. Sophia rocked slowly, her body moving in a rhythm older than words. A lullaby hummed in her throat.
Hush now, sweet girl. The world is quiet. Mama's got you.
Her gaze drifted to the shelf where a small memory box sat. Inside lay the first hospital bracelet, the one labeled H771. She didn't reach for it. That relic belonged to a past that no longer owned her. Everything she needed was here, warm in her arms. The weight of her daughter was the only truth that mattered.
We made it, Mary. We really did.
She pulled the baby closer, her nose buried in the soft down of Mary's hair. The room held nothing but breath and love. The camera pulled back slowly, the nursery shrinking until it was just a warm golden square in the darkness, a light that would never be put out. And inside that light, a mother and daughter began their first real night together, no longer stolen, no longer afraid.